Hello everyone, this is Red with RedDragonLeo.com, and it is Monday. Just a quick Monday update. It looks like we did put in a spinning top kind of candle pattern here. As you can see, we really didn't go anywhere today. I had kind of thought that we would actually gap down. I was leaning that way. That's what I'd said in the post, that we'd gap down, then come back up for the back test, but it looks like we did just the opposite. The end result was pretty much the same, pretty much a flat, choppy day. Instead of falling down from this triangle pattern right here, with this line and this line, I thought we might fall down, maybe find some support here at 1320, then work our way back up here and along this this back test right here before we fell. But in any case, we went up from this and then we fell down. So that still leaves us to do a back test. We still need a back test. And considering where they are and how close they are now to putting in a new high, I don't think it will be very much for them to be able to go up and take out 1344 tomorrow morning on a back test. As you can see here for the 30-minute chart, it just continued down and stayed in overbought, oversold conditions all day here on the MACDs. On the histogram bars for the MACD. The actual MACD moving averages are still pointing down, and they could continue down now. There's nothing to say that they won't continue on down the negative 2.5 or lower, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I think it is going to curl up here tomorrow. You can see here on the full stochastics that it's turning back up as well from a kind of oversold condition. Certainly it could stay down there oversold, but I just don't think it will. The volume is too light. So I do think we're going to curl back up here on the 30 after being basically oversold on the histogram bars as this, and then the MACD just slowly moving down to about the zero level. But the market really didn't sell off that much. It just kind of traded sideways pretty much, just slightly down for the day. So that just goes to show you that this light volume, it's very easy to control it. Same thing here on the 60-minute chart. As you can see, we were about right here, covering this up here with my hand. We were just right in here, and I thought maybe we'd come up first, but we didn't. We actually continued on down, and now it looks like into the close there, it looks like it's looking back up, and it wants to go back up. Here on the MACDs, the moving averages do look like they want to continue down, so there is a possibility we could go down a little bit lower in the morning. That is a possibility. The full stochastics also still pointing down, no sign of it hooking back up yet. So there's a possibility here that we could go down in the morning, maybe run down here the first hour or several hours, I guess, and then hook back up after we hit the zero mark right here. We could hook back up. That would keep this kind of slowly working its way back up. And I say that because Ben Bernanke is speaking for the FOMC meeting, and they'll, you know how the market pretty much waits till 2:30 after the bubblehead speaks, and then the market moves, and generally it moves bullish. So that would make a lot of sense to me, that the market actually trades a lot of sideways, maybe down a little bit, but I think it's going to trade mainly sideways, while this 60-minute chart works its way down and curls back up, and while this works its way down here to 20 and curls back up. That would make sense based upon the timing of Bernanke speaking at 2:30. So in other words, it looks like we're not going to do a whole lot during the first half of the day, unless something really surprises me. I think it's going to be just kind of choppy right in here and not really go very far until they get the FOMC minutes read. And then generally it's favorable to the market and they generally rally on it. It's usually closed a positive day. It tends to be also a turning point in the market lots of times. So if we go up and break this 1344 after he speaks into the close, and they ram it up high, maybe it runs up here to 1350 or 1355, or I don't know, but wherever they run it up to, I do expect them to probably get it overbought at that point. And so I think that this 60 is going to slowly work its way back up, and we might have a move, either a very small one like this, or one like this, maybe more medium. I don't think we're going to have a big move like this. No, I don't think it's going to be a big rally like this. Somewhere around this is more likely, would be what I expected. It'd be really bearish if it was only this much on the MACD and it started to roll over on the histogram bars here. But you got to figure that it gets the most strength from this from coming down at a very, very low spot. Like when we were down here at negative 10.0 on the moving averages, you almost had to expect that once it did turn that you were going to see a big move up here in the histogram bars and as well as the market. But if you run down here during the day and you only dip down here to about zero, it's where I'm estimating that I think that it might go to, and then try to curl back up from a flat zero, you don't have very far to go. You just don't. It's like climbing the ladder and trying to, jump that last to get up a little bit higher. I don't know if that's a good analogy or not. I guess it's not, but I think it's more like okay, it'd be like barely pulling the rubber band back and shooting the ball that's in the rubber band or something, just barely pulling it back. You need to really pull your arm all the way back and cock it with the rubber band, on your two fingers, and you put the little, I don't know, spitball or whatever it is you want to shoot at somebody, the teacher in the back of the head or something when you're in school. You know what I'm talking about? You put the rubber band between your two fingers, you pull it back. Okay, well, when you pull it all the way back down to negative 10, you got a really good shot of pushing up, is my point. That's why I think that when you're down here, you should expect something big like this. But if you start about zero, or let me get down to here, if you move this down to about zero, then you try to pull back and push back up, you just really won't shoot it very far. That's why I think it might not be very big on this move up. So possibly more like this one, maybe this one, but I'm leaning more towards this on the Ben Bernanke FOMC meeting at the end of the day. So that would run it up and get it oversold, but overbought. But at the same time, it should put it in a new high. Is what I would expect it to do. And whether it closes there or rolls over, I don't know. If it closes there, great. But I think it's a shorting opportunity. You really want to see the high taken out, at least on an intraday candle, because that's your short. You don't short right at the 1044. It's very likely they could chop sideways a little in the morning as this thing curls over, and as it gets closer to Ben Bernanke speaking, they could run it right up here and bang on this 1044 all day long. They very well could. So when I say choppy in this area, I don't know if it's going to go down here a little and go stay negative a little bit, or if it's going to run up a little bit. I really don't know there, but I expect wherever it is around late in the day, I think that after he speaks, that's when they're going to move it up. That's when you're going to see the big move up, I would suspect, and you're going to break this. So if you kind of curl up at some point, getting close to 230, and trade sideways right along this 1044 area, and maybe running up this line right here, you're going to be putting in a bull flag. So you should expect it, but the amateurs will get short right at the double top. and you don't want to do that. You want to wait until it plays out on the bull flag, pierces, goes through the top, and then take your chance with the short there, thinking that it's going to fail, because I don't think it has the staying power to stay. Now, maybe after it falls back down, puts in the right shoulder, and maybe later on we can go on up to that 1388 fake print on the market. That's still possible. I won't know that until we see how deep it falls, if that's going to be hit or not. Maybe it won't be. I kind of think it will, but I don't know. It all depends. If we go down here and keep on going and we take out this 1249, then no, we're in a wave 3 or a wave C down, and that leaves the odds of a little bit less for the market to recover all the way back up to 1388. I won't rule it out, because we know how manipulated this market is, but it just makes it a lot harder if you see this on the daily chart. It runs down here and runs down, say, and it hits this 200 moving average. Look how long that's going to take for it to get down to that point. It's going to be into May. So if it does that, and then it wants to try to bounce and run back up to 1280 or 1388, well, I guess that's possible. But I would think that, if you run all the way down there, this thing is definitely going to run under, and it depends obviously how deep this goes. If we roll over here towards the end of May and these histogram bars get deeper than this, then you do not have a positive divergence for the market to move back up. Now, if it runs more shallow and it puts in a lower, or I should say a higher low at the lowest peak than this one here, then you could draw a line and make that positive divergence, and that would indicate that the market would turn back up and possibly put in that high at 1388 approximately on the SPX from a fake print. When you compare that to the weekly chart, the weekly's another story. See, it's a tough one to call on that, because it is clearly looking like it wants to hook back up here on the full stochastics. We did put in a higher low here on the histogram tower here. So, of course, if it just rolls over, it's going to end up going deep and keep on going deep, and at some point curl back up. But but right now it's acting like it wants to curl back up and go positive. It's iffy. And right here, it's crisscrossing here. It's still bearish here, as you can see. And here, this could just be a bump in the road. It could easily roll back over. There's just no way of saying right now in the weekly chart exactly what it wants to do. If you looked at it pure from this point of view, you could simply say, yeah, it's bullish, because the 20-day moving or 20 period moving average is clearly above the 50 period moving average, and the 50 just crossed over the 200. So when you look at it like this, it's definitely bullish, but this could all change, and really for us to look at this and try to predict that far out, it's just too difficult. We really just kind of have to, if we can catch a couple of weeks like this, yeah, I'd be quite happy catching another move like this. So if we get more than that, then hey, we're some lucky people. But if not, then we don't. But this, I will say this, you can tell it is losing steam, because here at this peak right here, you can see how the RSI was way up here above 70, clearly in bull territory, and it was overbought at that time, but it was just pretty much maxing itself out. And you can see it's losing steam. It has dropped down during this sell-off, recovered some, working its way back up, but if it rolls over here and puts in a negative divergence, then we pretty much can expect it to keep on coming down and probably test this this blue trend line right here. Of course, if it breaks that, then we're definitely in bear territory. So, but we'll take that one day at a time. We just don't know about that at this point. So you really should expect this to pop higher and take out this high. besides just the technical issues of it, there's also the fact that the Dow has already done that, and so has the Russell. So you expect the S&P to do this. The Nasdaq hasn't, but you do expect the S&P to put in a quick higher high and then fail. So that's what I'm still looking for, and we'll see if it turns out to be a right shoulder or if it turns out to be more. So that's it, gang. Pretty much just I just sit on pins and needles until the Bernanke speaks, and then see what happens. I do think it's going to run up there and do it. I thought possibly we'd get it today, but we didn't. But so maybe tomorrow. Good luck, everyone.